So, when it comes to the Electoral College, I actually stand corrected. I am wrong. The Supreme Court has unanimously and incorrectly ruled that the faithless electors are, they don't matter. They're, faithless electors. So, the stupid July 2020 Chia follow. The Chia follow opinion is stupid and wrong. So the Chia follow opinion, I want to explain to the court, just what the purpose, the original text, I'm a strict constructionalist, so not just a textualist, but the original intent of the authors. So who is winning the presidential election right now? Let's check it out. It's 5:21 in the p.m. Friday, November 6, 2020. This is 3 days after the presidential election. The levee hasn't broken just yet. So let's see, presidential election. This is according to Google. Joe Biden is winning 264. Donald Trump 214. Nevada, Pennsylvania, Georgia seems to be leaning towards Joe Biden, and North Carolina and Alaska are leaning towards Donald Trump. So, what does that mean? Okay, it means that Joe Biden looks like he's, is winning the presidency, but he needs a comfortable 276-point lead, 276 Electoral College points, because he at least needs a buffer. He needs, several points, because you don't know how many faithless electors are going to be, and so it could be his guy, it could be the other guy. You don't know. And so the 270 would be on December 14th. That's how many you need on December 14th. But right now it's not December 14th. It's way before. It's more than a month away. More than a month away. So that means what? That means why do they need, the buffer? Why do they need a 276-point lead? Why do they need a 12-point spread? Because of the Electoral College. 2016, they had 11 faithless electors. They've had 60, in 1 year, and 60 in another year, and 30 in another year. So this is not, an uncommon thing. It modern, but just because it's rusty doesn't mean, just because you hadn't used the damn thing doesn't mean it's not. It's the damn Constitution. It was written in 1789, so that's, if we're going to throw out the original intent to the Electoral College, why don't we just throw out the original intent to the whole damn thing? Fuck it. Who cares? It's just torch the damn, So who could still win the presidency? It's still anybody's ball game. Both Joe or Donald could still win the presidency. Anybody can. Also, on top of those two, Paul Rudd, Oprah, Ralph Nader. We could actually get Ralph Nader back in there. Cynthia McKinney, Jill Stein, Dennis Rodman, our great diplomatic statesman. Kanye West, Joe Rogan, The Rock, Jimmy Dore. I would vote for Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore for president. He's, funny, he's interesting, he's humble. Howie Hawkins? No, let's not vote for him. But Paul Rudd, Oprah, any of those are The Rock, Kanye. So who decides the presidential election? The 538 Electoral College electors do on December 14th. The real presidential election is on December 14th, 2020. So tune in and watch, right? They're going to do it in the State House. It's a big demonstration. They've done it every year. You just haven't been paying attention. You just watch the media, the TV. They tell you what's up. And so, find out who your electors are. Get them to vote for the right guy. That's, effective democracy, which is consistent with the Constitution. If Amy Barrett is a true a strict constructionist, an originalist, a textual extremist, then Amy Barrett would agree with me and not that bullshit July 2020 Chia follow decision. The Chia follow decision. Chia follow, you follow? Okay, so a little history, just 2016 you had 11 faithful deflectors, okay? I think it's faithful to the Constitution deflectors. Faithless? No, they're faithful deflectors. So 3 for Colin Powell, 1 for Faith Spotted Eagle, 3 for Bernie Sanders, 2 for John Kasich, 1 for Ron Paul, and there was another 1. The top 3, in order, if both the 2 top, assholes are deprived of majority, they don't reach 270, then it goes to the House with a contingent election. Actually, I think there's a sudden death. Tie, if there's a tie, there's sudden death. But if it's past the tie, we're all going to figure it out together, because I'm just going to read the Constitution to you, America, okay? Since the top 3 is a tie, that means the election in the House, contingent election, would have been between Don and Hillary, and Colin Powell and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders could have been president if he understood the Constitution, if he understood the Electoral College, if he understood the original intent to the Electoral College. He could have been president. But no, Colin Powell and Bernie, they don't, understand. We could have had a President Bernie. That's a dream that's never going to die for our generation. So, which clauses in the Constitution are relevant to the Electoral College? Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 to 4. So, Clause 2, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, right? The powers of the President, how does he get elected? Provides that each state shall appoint electors selected in a manner determined by its legislature that disqualifies any person holding a federal office, either elected or appointed, from being an elector. The Electoral College is mainly the 12th Amendment because it overrides the original Electoral College in the body of the constitutional text. After the 1800 election resulted in a deadlock, the 12th Amendment was ratified in 1804 to fix the problems of the 1800 election. It changed the election procedure so that instead of casting 2 votes for the same type, because it was just, number 1 was president, number 2 was vice president, electors would make an explicit choice for president and then an explicit choice for vice president, also the 23rd Amendment. So the 12th Amendment, the 23rd Amendment, and also Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 to 4. So those are your, just read those 4 little tidbits and then go around acting like you're a goddamn expert, okay? 23rd Amendment, this just says that Washington, D.C. gets 3 Electoral College votes, and this is just general information. All the territories, both modern-day territories, Puerto Rico, historical territories, Dakota Territory, the Northwest Territory, right, the Guam and whatever, they have not ever been entitled to any Electoral College votes. The 12th Amendment, so is it top 5 or top 3? It used to be top 5. The House contingent elections, they would take the top 5. The 12th Amendment changed it to the top 3 electors shall meet in their respective states. This is the 12th Amendment, verbatim, okay? The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for president and vice president, one of whom at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president. And they shall make distinct list of all persons voted for as president and of all persons voted for as vice president, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, meaning absolute majority. And if no person has absolute majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers not exceeding 3 on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president. So, let's see. But in choosing the president, the vote shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president whenever the right choice shall devolve upon them before the 4th day of March next following, then the vice president shall act as president. As in the case of the death or other constitutional disability of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes as vice president shall be the vice president, if such a number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if no person have a majority, then from the 2 highest numbers on the list, the Senate shall choose the vice president. A quorum for the purpose shall consist of 2/3 of the whole number of senators, and a majority of the whole number shall be necessary to a choice, but no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. The Electoral College in the body of the text of the Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clauses 2 to 4. Clause 2, each state shall appoint in manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. So of profit, you can't even be a federal corporation. Do they do federal corporations? But not just a federal office, but federal corporations. To Clause 3, the electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for two persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves, and they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Reps, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such a number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. So this is the body of the text, right? So the amendment, 12th Amendment, supersedes, overstamps it, but you get to see, a lot of the similar elements, but you also get to see what it used to be too, right? And in case of a tie, and if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for president. Okay, so there it is, sudden death, right? If there's a tie, if they say 269, 269, it's a dead tie, then automatically the House of Representatives, they have an up or down vote, right? Is it Tweedledee, Tweedledum, A or B? It's a tie, right? So it's those two people, House of Votes immediately, no questions, it gets complicated, right? And then it says top five, and if no person has a majority, then from the five highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the President. But in choosing the President, the votes shall be taken by states. The representation from each state having one vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and the majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. So you need, 26 states? That's the majority, right? You need 26 states to vote. In every case, after the choice of the President, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the Vice President. But if there should remain two or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the Vice President. Clause 4, the Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. So the Congress may determine the time of the choosing of electors. The time, is that federal code? Where does that come from? But the time? Okay, so anyways, guess that's a cliffhanger, right? The Constitution has a little cliffhanger for us when it comes to the Electoral College. So I was wrong that right now the Supreme Court, I believe, is incorrectly interpreting the Constitution. Hopefully Amy Barrett will set the record straight. So, send this shit. It's the Electoral College. Lauren Boebert is right. It's not CNN. It's not not the Republic. Not anybody. It's just the Electoral College. So SCOTUS is wrong. So I'm right and wrong. If SCOTUS is right, I'd be right. But the original intent. So let me explain. Okay, the American law. It says, that Electoral College is meaningless. The electors are forced to vote the way the people of the state voted. But that's how Supreme Court, right? That's the Supreme Court interpreted. This is combination, Supreme Court, Constitution, and the Code. So the Supreme Court is wrong. Here is Kagan's opinion for that dog shit Plessy v. Ferguson unanimous 9-0 opinion. Article 2, Section 1's appointments power gives the states far-reaching authority over presidential electors, absent some other constitutional constraint. As the Constitution says, each state may appoint electors in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct. This court has described that clause as conveying the broadest power of determination over who becomes an elector. The silly opinion goes on. The Constitution is bare bones about electors. Article 2 includes only the instruction to each state to appoint in whatever way it likes its presidential electors. The 12th Amendment then tells electors to meet in their states to vote for the president and vice president separately and to transmit those lists of all their votes to the President of the United States Senate for counting. And that is all. Justice Thomas reached the same conclusion as the other justices, but he and Justice Gorsuch said that the 10th Amendment provided a basis for such a decision. Justice Thomas wrote that the powers related to electors reside with states to the extent that the Constitution does not remove or restrict that power. Thus, to invalidate a state law, there must be something in the federal Constitution that deprives the states of the power to enact such a measure. Okay, whatever. So, which is it, Supreme Court, right? You got two, justifications. Is it the 10th Amendment, or is it the broad appointment power of Article 2, Section 1 that invalidates the original purpose of the Electoral College, the original intent of the Electoral College? This is, this is a strict constructionist view. So if Amy Barrett and the rest of the Supreme Court doesn't understand, so which is it exactly? Is it the 10th Amendment, or is it Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2? So which one? Supreme Court Justice, they don't even agree on the reasons for their stupid July 2020 Chia-follow opinion. This Chia-follow opinion is such a Chia-follow opinion. This Chia-follow opinion v. Washington and Colorado Department of State v. Baca. This is Michael Baca, right? Michael Baca and really all the faithful to the Constitution deflectors are my personal heroes. They are some badasses. All those ones that have throughout the years after the 2016 election who attempted to switch their votes. Electors attempted to switch their votes in Washington and Colorado, subjected to the enforcement of their state's faithless elector laws. The 4 faithless electors from Washington State were fined $1,000 each for breaking their pledge. On July 6, 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled unanimously in both Chia-follow v. Washington and Colorado Department of State v. Baca that states may enforce laws to punish faithless electors. Interesting enough, after 23,529 electoral votes in 58 presidential elections between 1789 and 2016, the vote of Samuel Miles in 1796 was the only case where an electoral vote was cast for a president in an unfaithful way by an elector who may have thought his vote could have affected the outcome. Instead of voting for Sam Adams, he voted for Thomas Jefferson. Samuel Miles, 1796. In their Chia-follow decision, which is totally a Chia-follow decision, the justices noted that faithless voters have never come close to affecting an outcome. So why are they so afraid? Why are they so scared? They got a Plessy v. Ferguson case. It's a non-starter. The Supreme Court of the United States fucked up. They fucked up majorly. Who is running, today's Supreme Court? Melville Fuller? Oh, Melville Fuller. Oh, we need Melville. That's who we need. We don't need no Melville Fuller fucking court. So I'm just going to give one argument for my point of view. I don't believe we should have Electoral College, but since the Electoral College is there, then the Electoral College is going to decide the election just like it has, for goddamn centuries. And just because you haven't used a mechanism doesn't mean the mechanism isn't there, okay? So Justice Jackson, this is a Supreme Court case, Ray v. Blair. In the Supreme Court case, Ray v. Blair, this is 1952, Justice Jackson wrote a dissent. Justice Douglas attached his name in agreement with it. So both Douglas and Jackson, right? Justice Jackson, Justice Douglas. They went ahead and decided that they affirmed the decision of this Ray v. Blair case, 1952 Ray v. Blair, but that was just to make someone pledge. So the Democrat or Republican Party could make the person pledge, but they couldn't force to vote. And so the dissent is actually going to affirm the decision because they're saying a pledge is not a vote. And therefore, the Democrats can make the person pledge for the specific candidate, but they can't make them vote for it. So Justice Jackson and Douglas, they wrote forcefully in their dissent, "No one faithful to our history can deny that the plan originally contemplated what is implicit in its text, that electors would be free agents to exercise an independent and nonpartisan judgment as to the men best qualified for the nation's highest offices." Let me repeat that again. No one faithful to our history can deny that the plan originally contemplated what is implicit in its text, that electors would be free agents to exercise an independent and nonpartisan judgment as to the men best qualified for the nation's highest offices. Right? So when the people fuck up, then there's the college of electors that will correct that fuck up. It's to correct the demagogue. When the demagogue, the people vote for some dumbass demagogue, then the college of electors can overthrow the election and pick the best guy anyway. Pick the best one forward, right? So, yeah, this is a state law that would thwart a federal elector's discretion at an extraordinary time when it is reasonably must be exercised would clearly violate Article 2 in the 12th Amendment. So all this, Electoral College horse shit is just a total bullshit, and you really got to be batshit to believe it. Peace.